Hi, thank you for clicking on the video and let's get right into it. Today I'm talking about the keto diet, which is a high-fat, low-carb diet. It's a diet where you basically eat predominantly fatty and protein-high foods and lower carbs, and then your body enters a production state called ketosis, where your body produces something called ketones from the liver, and that's what your body uses as energy rather than the carbs that your body actually wants. Ketosis, what they won't say in pro-keto diet sites and sources, what they won't say is that ketosis is a state of survival. It's your body's way of saying, I am running on empty, feed me, but you don't listen. And you continue to live off of what your liver produces, which are the ketones. Survival mode is something that a lot of people with anorexia are in. They're in a constant state of survival mode. Basically, your body is starving and is searching for any source of energy, and it will start to eat away at your organs. This is a prime example of it. Your body is producing these ketones that I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, but your body is surviving off of a form that is produced in the liver rather than just relying on natural energy from carbohydrates. Okay, so you enter ketosis, but let's say your body doesn't produce, there's something wrong with your liver, or there's something wrong and you can't produce enough energy from your liver. There's just so many factors when you could just be eating the natural forms of energy from carbohydrates and calling it a day, and guess what? You don't have to rely on your liver to produce an extra form of energy when you could just be eating energy. This is one of the first diets I've come across that gives out strict macros to follow, and the macros are as follows: 70% fat, 20% protein, and 5% carbs. This is, in my opinion, a very sad diet. So the first thing with this diet that bothers me is that when they talk about protein, they talk about meat. They talk about eating animals. And that's not the only type of protein that exists in the world. And I said it in my last video, I'm going to keep saying it forever, basically, is that's not, there's protein in all plants, but when it's a low-carb diet, you can't eat those plants. You can't get those carbs, and you can't get those proteins from those plants. So it's a very backwards diet, very misinformed diet, because protein's in everything, but when you limit the most natural form of protein, then you don't get those natural proteins. 5% carbs, basically they say no wheat, no starch, no fruit. Again, it's so sad. Like, those are some of the most delicious foods in the world and you can't even have them. They don't even say limit or eat in moderation. No, they say completely no, don't eat these things, which no fruit? Fruit is so healthy and so good for you and so tasty. Why would you say no to that? That's silly. Another problem is when you have higher protein and fat, especially fat content, you're not going to get a lot of dietary micronutrients like fiber. And I talk about fiber a lot. Fiber is probably I don't know why I have a favorite micronutrient, but fiber is my favorite. And without fiber, your body cannot pass the waste. At least it won't pass it nicely and smoothly. And you could have digestive issues, and you could cause yourself to have even bad health problems in that area, which are not fun, by the way. They say it's not restrictive, but when you say no to wheat, starch, and fruit, that's restrictive. That's saying no to something. And you're saying no to something that's not even unhealthy for you. It's actually scientifically proven that those foods are good for you and they don't have a real, negative side effect to those foods. Unless, if you eat anything in, crazy amounts, there are going to be some side effects. But these are foods that you can eat a lot of, and you can eat them every day, and you're doing good to your body. So it is restrictive, and it's restrictive in the sense that when you're a high fat, a high protein, especially animal fats and animal proteins, you have to watch your calories, because those items, those foods are so much higher in calories and fats that you do have to almost restrict your calories. And I'm positive the majority of people who follow this type of diet restrict. Absolutely. Any diet that has to do with your body entering starvation, like, that should be red flag going up, like, something's wrong with this diet. It requires me to basically starve my body, but at the same time, in a way, starve my brain of, like, actual nutrients. This diet messes with your body's ability to function properly. I mentioned fiber. You don't get that good fiber, that good fruit fiber, that good vegetable fiber. Guess what? You ain't gonna be pooing very easily, very nicely. You rely on fats, you are gonna be blocked up to here with that shit, okay? That's nasty. As someone with a long history of eating disorders, when I read a diet or I read anything that I feel myself almost remembering, I used to think like this, I used to be strict like this, I used to be like this, anything, whether it's a diet, whether it's media, whatever it is, if I feel that way, then chances are someone else with a same history of eating disorders as myself will have that same reaction. So if I have that reaction to a diet, then I can honestly say that's proof that this diet is not healthy, especially for people who struggle with eating disorders. So on high-fat diets, unless you are exercising for a fair amount, the extra calories of fat get stored as fat. So this diet is intended to burn your extra fat, but how can you burn your extra fat if you keep replacing your fat? So it's like they just keep like balancing each other out and the fat's still there. When you don't eat enough carbs, you're missing out on such natural, wholesome nutrients. Like, this is what your body wants. This is what your body is saying, I'll feed me, that's so delicious, it's so colorful. As someone who, I love color, I can't imagine eating a diet that is so bleh in color. Like, fat and protein, what do you think of? You think of brown and beige and cream colored. Like, that is so boring. I want my food to be vibrant. I want it to be alive. And plants give you that. They give you that life. They give you that soul. They give you that color. Last issue, and this isn't the diet's fault. This is just dumb industry, dumb society, dumb diet world. Categorizing protein as only meat. Like, protein can only be meat. Fuck that. Oh my god. That is the dumbest thing. I feel like I'm hearing it more and more often, probably because I've been watching a lot of, like, cooking shows, and they're like, oh, you need a protein, and then, go grab meat. And I'm like, no, go grab something better. Seriously, it's such a misconception. It's so misinformed. It makes you look unintelligent. Like, can we please finally recognize, it's 2016, can we finally recognize that plants have protein? I wish I could find some pros to this diet. I think the only positive side to this diet is if your intention is to lose weight, and you take this diet and you start doing it and you start to go down the road of restriction, you're going to lose weight, and that's the only pro, but the negative side is you probably just became an eating disorder victim. So, good job. And of course, if you'd like to leave me a comment, a suggestion, a criticism, feel free. I love feedback. Anything you want to say, feel free to let me know. And I will see you next time. Bye.